Hello, welcome to my video about the Mitchells versus the Machines on Netflix, which I watched with Kirk, who's over here.
Hello.
Because we're hanging out to do Fear Podcast, and this isn't Fear Podcast, but we're Fear-ish, but it's not the Fear Podcast.
We just have a general level of fear.
We just have a general level
at having to exist on this fucking earth.
Yes. I see you just added it to your list because it's very good.
It is very good.
So yeah, the Mitchells versus the Machine. Why is this a hard title to say fast?
It's because it's a TH sound, an M sound, a TH sound, and an M sound.
The Mitchells versus the Machines is an animated movie on Netflix that came out like a week or so ago. I mostly learned about it because Alex Hirsch, creator of Gravity Falls, was posting about it. I don't know how involved he actually was in it.
Turns out, Mike Rionda,
the director and creative vision kind of behind the movie, is also a creative director on Gravity Falls. So what we're saying is this movie has a lot of Gravity Falls-esque humor, and it was also produced by Miller and Lord, the people behind Lego movies and Spider-Verse. A lot of the most innovative surprise hits of the animated scene of the last 5 years.
I have to say, if I had to pick a movie that reminds me the most of this that they've done, it's probably Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Oh, I forget this. This movie does have a Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs art style.
Well, it's because I also
always forget that they also have played a part in Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Dude, that movie is like,
But the Mitchells versus the Machine. So it's about this family that's on a cross-country road trip. Let me just read the Netflix description because Kirk just pulled it up on the TV behind me. A robot apocalypse puts the brakes on their cross-country road trip. Now it's up to the Mitchells, the world's weirdest family, to save the human race. Honestly,
that's kind of a weak description.
It's kind of a weak description, and honestly, it's hard to describe this movie in a way where it doesn't sound generic.
Yeah. I think a good point of comparison, aside from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs or Gravity Falls or anything like that, it's a lot like the Goofy movie.
That's another good comparison. But I don't know. I enjoy it independently of all of these.
Yeah, you don't need to like those movies to like this movie. I'm just saying that that's the closest vibe I can give to that movie.
This is also because
they're both road trip movies. Yeah. About families learning to come back together. After a period of being apart.
I think the thing I like about this movie is it's very it is fully a movie about young. It's a movie about weirdos.
It's a movie by weirdos for weirdos.
Yes, exactly, and it's about embracing the weirdness. That's kind of the moral of the story. They save the day because they have these weird quirks that make them able to fight the robot.
They destroy the robot.
This movie.
Spoilers. Their secret weapon to defeating the robot apocalypse is a video of their dog, who is so ugly that the robots can't tell if he's a loaf of bread, a dog, or a pig.
And in general, I don't want to spoil, but that's the one spoiler I'll give. It's a good.
I'll also say spoiling that I don't think really ruins the joke. It's because they find so many funny ways to use it.
It's just a good example of how the humor in this movie, the emotion of the movie, the humor and the heart of the movie all work so well in tandem with each other. The humor, the heart, and the plot, all just really work in great tandem with it. The main character is the daughter of the family, and she's really into film stuff, and she wants to go to film school, whereas her dad is the nature-loving weirdo who wants to be out in the woods as a huntsman,
and he's also kind of get a job.
Yeah. So there's that's the tension, and I mean, on paper, it's a generic story
on
about
paper,
a family
that sounds
learning
really
to come
generic,
together.
but like but in practice,
yes, the heart of the movie really, really works, and the humor is. This is maybe the most like.
This will sound like an insult. This feels like it was written for. This feels like it was written by.
Yeah, I was gonna say it
Zoomers.
sounds bad, but I mean it in a good way. It's the most Gen Z humor. There are parts of this movie where it goes into full on like intentional YouTube shit post. And like it's humor written very specifically for us and for like other 20-something to other like teenage to 20-something internet loving weirdos.
People who grew up watching YouTube videos like this or TV shows like
It's very modern. It's one of the least timeless animated films I've ever seen, but everything about it is like intentionally not.
I am
timeless.
perfectly okay with that. It's like Goof Troop. It's so dated that it ends up becoming timeless in a way.
It's intentionally dated to. I mean, like the videos the main character takes are dated by years, so like they're not trying to like hide the time period. The villain is like a smartphone that turns against its creator and like runs an army of robots.
Again, sounds very generic and kind of dumb. It's really good. It's
because
really funny.
The comedy writing is all so good, and the animation as well is also benefiting the comedy. Like the smartphone villain is just a smartphone with a face, but the way her like the way the face moves around the screen is like a whole expressive thing. They also use these like storybook drawings to sort of illustrate people's like imaginations, almost kind of coming out of them.
Yeah,
it's a little bit anime.
It's pretty anime. It gives it a very strong mixed media vibe.
And they just do a lot of like the villain tech the villainous like tech all has this minimalist like very modern technology design to it that is really cool.
Whereas in the main characters are all very cartoonish and exaggerated.
Yes. It's
even down to like their eyes have that classic like big eye look.
Yeah. It looks a lot like I was trying to think of a movie of an animated movie that aesthetically is most similar, and it is Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. What you said, like that's kind of the same art style. This is like an evolved version of that.
This is the final form of Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs
art style.
You peel off the logo for the title, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 3. I knew it. No, I'm joking.
Yeah. It's number 3 in the U.S. right now,
and it deserves it.
Yes, I would recommend it. Netflix, they produce a lot of like garbage, but their willingness to take on like their willingness to take anything often can sometimes lead to great projects like this or Klaus or BoJack Horseman, just like things that
would never survive on another platform. Who knew that a broken clock hits noon at least once a day?
What?
It's a saying. It's a saying about how shitty things can sometimes be good.
Okay. All right. Well, yes. But yeah, this movie. You should if you like Gravity Falls and its style of humor. This has the same kind of like pacing of humor and like direction. You can tell it's got the same direction behind it. And if you like, I don't know, just like internet stuff in general, if you're a weirdo, you'll probably enjoy this movie.
I'm a weirdo.
I
don't fit in.
I don't fit in.
Have you ever seen me without this hat? That'd be weird. I'm weird. And I like it. I like that. I don't want to fit in.
I'd like to be cool. I'd like to be clear that the movie is not. It's not like.
It does not have Riverdale energy.
Yes, it does.
But if it knew about Riverdale, it would absolutely make a Riverdale joke.
Yeah, like making fun of it. It doesn't have the like inauthentic like I'm trying too hard.
It doesn't
to be weird.
Feel like it's being weird.
It feels like it's genuinely.
It feels like it was just written by weird people who wanted to show off how weird they are.
Yes.
And we're like, yeah, we're also weird, so we like this genuine display of weirdness.
Exactly. And with that, I think I've given my best recommendation. Arrivederci!